Shripadarajam Sharanam Prapadhe. Chapter 3. Shankara Bhatt meets Palaniswamy. His visit to Kuruvapuram. The efficacy of constant meditation about Sripad Sri Vallabha. I started from Vichitrapuram due to the mercy of Sripad Sri Vallabha. My mind was eager to visit Parameshwara in Chidambaram. My travel continued for 3 days in a happy way. I was getting food without asking for it. On the fourth day, I stood at the threshold of a Brahmin's house and begged for food. A ferocious housewife came out of the house and yelled that there was no food. I waited for some time outside the house. The householder came out and said, I am not fortunate enough to extend hospitality to guests and visitors. My wife is a great shrew. When she gets anger, she breaks earthen pots on my head. In this matter, my wife and the wife of my guru stand on an equal footing. However, there is one difference. My wife demands from me the cost of pots broken, but the wife of my guru do not harass him in that manner. Just now some pots are broken on my head. There is no dearth of food and water in our house, but I must compulsory reimburse the cost of broken pots immediately. This is very troublesome to me. If I could get today some money distributed during religious functions as sambhavana, there would be no trouble. If it is not possible, I must borrow it from someone. I must repay the loan whenever I get money through sambhavanas, monetary honorariums. Out of the money received by way of sambhavanas, I use a portion of it for repayment of debts and the rest is handed over to her. This system continued for some time. In the recent times, she is taking away completely all the amount of sambhavanas. Therefore, there is no way to repay the loans. People who know my position are not coming forward to offer me any loan. They were asking me, how do you repay the loans? Are you thinking that you could repay the debts when you receive money through sambhavanas? That way is also closed now. As I was rich, no one was giving any donation. On the other hand, they were ridiculing me. Now I must pay the cost of broken pots. After scolding you sharply, my wife called me inside the house and said, there is a pilgrim in the street. You go along with him and bring donation received at any place. Then only you will receive food in the house. Then that hen-pecked husband told me that he would come along with me. He said that he knew very well all the houses of the Brahmins in the village and that they might get meals as well as money as dakshina, a monetary offering. I was taken aback. I thought, Sripada, Sri Vallabha, what is this horrible test? I went to each and every house in that village of Brahmins in the company of that Brahmin. No one offered any meals, not to speak of offering any financial help. Then that Brahmin who accompanied me lamented, till now I am only unlucky. As you joined with me, your fortune was also lost and you also became unlucky. Then I told him, Sri Dattatreya is the omnipotent Lord who provides food to all creatures. He dwells in Kurvapuram in this Kali Yuga, assuming the name and form of Sripada Sri Vallabha. I am going there to see him. Let us sit in the foot of that Audambara tree chanting his name. Let us leave it to the mercy of Sri Datta. That Brahmin agreed for that. Hunger was scorching in the stomach. We were chanting the name of Sripada Sri Vallabha in a feeble voice. While we were continuing the chant of the name of Sripada, servitors of the king approached us and submitted. Sirs, Yuvaraja got speech. Dumbness was also removed. The king ordered us to immediately bring you. Therefore, you please come along with us. I could not disclose our miserable plight to those royal servants. I told them that I could not come alone and that they should take my companion also along with me. The servants of the king agreed for that. They took us seated on the backs of horses with all respect. Seeing this, the residents of the Agraharam village, inhabited mainly by Brahmins, kept their fingers on their noses in utter amazement. The Maharaja said, Mahatma, even after knowing that you are a great scholar, I sent you with empty hands without honoring you. After you left, the prince felt unconscious. We did number of services to him. After a long time, he opened his eyes and began uttering Sripada Vallabha Digambara, Sri Datta Deva Digambara. The prince disclosed that a very tall, extremely handsome yogi of 16 years appeared and placed holy ash in his mouth. Who is that yogi? Where is his residence? What is the relationship between Lord Sri Datta and that yogi? Kindly tell. I submitted with humility. In what way can I describe the glory of Sripad Sri Vallabha? He is actually an incarnation of Lord Datta. His form of incarnation is very extraordinary as that of the incarnation of Sri Krishna. What I heard about him is only very little. I am traveling to Kuruvapuram to have his darshan. I am visiting sacred places and holy men on the way. The learned people of Vichitrapuram wondered at this strange happening. They praised Sri Vallabha Swami in various ways because the king got good nature. They were rid of the troubles and that the Yuvaraja's mutism was cured on account of their austerities for 40 days. The king honored me with donation of gold. The king's preceptor said, Sir, wisdom dawned on me after so many days. I realized that Saivites by abusing Vishnu and Vaishnavites by abusing Shiva are only amazing sin and that no purpose is served. As a result of our abusing God, we experienced all troubles. Without knowing, we observed austerities for 40 days for propitiating Lord Datta. Thanks to the advice of Madhava Nambudri, we are very much indebted to you. When we took leave of them, Madhava Nambudri also expressed his resolve to come along with us. We agreed. We three reached the village. We distributed the gold given to us by the king among the Brahmins of that Agraharam. The termagant wife of my friend offered us food after receiving gold. She became a devotee of Sripad Sri Vallabha afterwards. She turned to docile nature, leaving her previous termagant temperament. Myself and Madhava Nambudri travelled towards Chidambaram. Sage Agastya took Parabrahma Shastri, a resident of Raleigh village situated in the Godavari region, for the priesthood of Dharmashastra Ayyappadeva. In course of time, Vedic scholars from the village Namburu of Gartapuri, Guntur, were invited by the royal families ruling Malayala Desa, modern Kerala. Many Brahmins left Namburu and propagated Vedic knowledge in Malayala Desa. These people are called Nambudri Brahmins. The ancestors of Adi Shankara also belong to Namburu. Nambudri Brahmins are famous for their religious observances and traditions, discipline and devotion, proficiency in mantra, tantra, and yantra practices. But Madhava Nambudri was an unlettered one. He was eking his livelihood working as a cook in the houses of some Brahmins. He lost his parents in childhood. Close relations did not help him. He was having an unshakable devotion toward Lord Datta. After hearing about the incarnation of Sripad Sri Vallabha, He was eager to visit him as soon as possible. We heard that some great Siddhas were there nearby Chidambaram. We visited Sri Palaniswamy, an old hermit leading a solitary life in the hills. When we arrived at the entrance of the cave, Sri Palaniswamy, who saw us, greeted both Madhava and Shankara are coming together. What a fortune! We realized that he was a great Siddha who could call us by own names even without any acquaintance. Merciful Sri Swami said, "My sons, it is time to cast off this body and enter into a youthful body in accordance with the command of Sri Pada Sri Vallabha. The age of this body is 300 years. It is the order of Sripada that I should leave this body and live for another 300 years in a new body. Even the liberated ones during life and those who cross the circle of birth, death, order of creation should return when Sripada orders them to come back. The great resolve that administers the entire creation has incarnated in the form of Sripada Sri Vallabha. His descent will always take place in the subtle worlds of higher regions. To come in human form is rather rare. His is a comprehensive yogic incarnation. Incarnations emerging from a fraction of his infinite powers always take place on this earth to protect devotees. My son Shankara, you have mentioned about sage Kannada and his theory of atoms in Vichitrapuram. Please explain in detail. The theory of atoms propounded by sage Kannada. Swami, please excuse me. I know very little about sage Kannada and his theory of atoms. Whatever I said is also came out of my mouth without any effort from me. Swami also knows that, I replied. The compassionate Sri Palaniswamy explained in the following manner. The entire creation is made up of superior atoms. Due to the existence of particles much finer than atoms, flow of electrical currents generate. Just as the various planets rotate in different orbits around sun, these finer particles rotate with incredible velocity around their central point in their respective orbits. All the emotional vibrations of living creatures are much subtle than the finer particles. Nothing will remain constant in this pulsating universe. Change is its nature. Changing every moment is its natural trait. The consciousness of Lord Datta is much more finer and subtle than the above vibrations. It is as much easy and also as much difficult to obtain His grace. When each atom or particle is divided ad infinitum, each part of the atom becomes equivalent to a void. The combination of infinite Mahasunyas, great voids, results in this creation. Just as matter is created, antimatter, which is entirely opposed to it, also exists. When these two got mixed, the antimatter is extinguished. Matter can change its qualities and properties. In the case of icons for worship, they become alive and active after the ritual of installation of life force is performed. Then they are rendered capable of fulfilling the desires of devotees. All mantras originate in Kundalini Chakra. All people think that Gayatri Mantra has 3 lines, but there is a 4th line for Gayatri Mantra. It is Parorajasi Savadham. This 4-line Gayatri Mantra indicates formless Brahman, God. Kundalini's Shakti creates this universe with 24 traits. In Gayatri also there are 24 letters. Number 24 is also called Gokulam. Go stands for 2 and Kulam stands for 4. The form of Brahman is beyond all changes and therefore it is indicated by the number 9. Number 8 is a form of Mahamaya. Sripada Sri Vallabha was asking from people whom he liked, Do Chopati Deva Lakshmi, Parabrahma is the Lord of all. He is the Pati of all. So the Lord Patidev stands for number 9. Lakshmi stands for number 8. Do stands for number 2 and Chow represents number 4. Instead asking for 2 chapatis, cakes made of wheat flour, he was asking strangely in a corrected manner, Do Chopati Deva Lakshmi. In this manner, he was reminding the living beings about the mysterious number 2, 4, 9, 8. The Parabrahman, the Supreme Lord, and the Parashakti, the Supreme primordial force of the Gokulam, reside in the form of Sripada Sri Vallabha. Please note that Lord Sri Krishna is Sri Vallabha himself. We recognize that the Gayatri mantra took the shape of his formless sandals. My son Shankara, in the gross human body, 12 kinds of variations exist. The gross body, which can be experienced by all, is subjected to the influence of gross sun. Through the practice of Kriya Yoga discipline, one can attain bodies with more and more subtler vibrations. These bodies of 12 different variations are under the influence of Dvadasa Adityas, 12 Adityas. However, as Sri Vallabha is far superior to Dvadasa Adityas, his divine gross body is endowed with wonderful divine vibrations. Even before his descent with human body in Sri Pitikapuram, Sri Vallabha arrived in this place 108 years ago. He blessed me. He came here in the same form as he is now in Kuruvapuram. Where is the end to his divine place? Some time after Sri Vallabha came here, great sages of Himalayas worshipped Sri Badrari Narayan in the great holy place Badri with Brahma Kamala flowers. I observed that all those Brahma Kamala flowers were falling on the auspicious feet of Sri Pada. He is beyond time and space. Sri Palaniswami concluded his narration. I had an indefinable experience on hearing the sacred sayings of Sri Palaniswami. I requested him, Swami, what are Brahma Kamalas? Where are they available? I gather from your words that Lord Datta would be elated if worshipped with them. Kindly clear my doubts. Description of Brahma Kamala flowers. Sri Palaniswami, in reply to my query, extended his merciful looks on me and said, Sri Mahavishnu worshipped Sadashiva with Brahma Kamalas. That which was mentioned as the lotus springing from the navel of Sri Mahavishnu is also Brahma Kamala. If Sri Datta is worshipped with lotus flowers, material and spiritual wealth will be achieved. As replicas of the Brahma Kamalas in the celestial world, Brahma Kamalas are found on earth in Himalayas at an altitude of 12,000 feet. These blossoms bloom once in a year. My son, they blossom forth only during midnight. This is another wonder. When it blooms, an excellent fragrance wafts over the entire area. All the great spiritual aspirants in Himalayas eagerly wait days and months to witness this rare spectacle. From autumn to spring season, the flowers remains buried in snow. In the beginning of Chaitra month, the flowers spring out of the snow. The process of blooming takes place during entire summer. The flowers fully blossom during midnight by the time of Shravana Suddha Purnima, the full moon day of the first fortnight of the month Shravana. It is at this time that the snowy Shivalinga of Amarnath becomes visible. My child Shankara, this wonderful miracle takes place now and forever for the benefit of spiritual seekers, great sages, and siddhas living in Himalayas. All sins get destroyed by looking at the Brahma Kamalas. Obstacles to yoga cease. This miracle confers instantaneous results. Therefore, yogis and ascetics attain higher status in their respective paths. After it blooms, the Brahmakamala flower disappears. After all those who were destined to see it had completely seen it. My son Shankara, I want to remain for 10 days in complete penance. If any distressed people come here, yourself and Madhava have to arrange for their darshan without causing disturbance to my deep meditation. If any dead one bitten by a snake is brought here, tell the people who brought the body as my order that they should leave the body in the waters of a river or that they should bury the corpse in the earth. Sri Palaniswami, seated there, went into a samadhi through penance. Myself and Madhava were arranging his darshan to distressed devotees in a calm manner. Some of the devotees supplied us with food materials. Madhava told that he would start cooking with the fallen branch of a coconut tree nearby. I agreed. Madhava went with another person. As irony of fate would have it, a cobra hiding behind the bough of the coconut tree had bitten Madhava when he lifted the coconut branch to carry it. 3 persons brought Madhava to the cave. As the command of Swami cannot be violated, I buried the body of Madhava. People of that place cooperated with me. I sobbed. The pure heart, pure devotion, unshakable faith on Shripad Shri Vallabha of Madhava came to my mind and I became very much perturbed. I consoled myself that destiny could not be avoided. After this sad incident, I witnessed another unfortunate incident. The relatives of a young person aged about 18 years brought his body. They were crying and shouting with sorrow. The youth also died of snake bite. I informed that Swamiji was in yoga samadhi and that they should bury the body in accordance with the orders of Swamiji. The devotees there informed the visitors that my friend also died in a similar manner and that his body was also buried following the orders of Swamiji. The distressed people became crestfallen and were blaming their misfortune in many ways. Under the unavoidable conditions, they buried the new youth. Every day, 3 or 4 people used to visit Swamiji. They used to see Swamiji, who was in a state of samadhi in a calm manner and were living without any disturbance. 10 days passed like this. On the 11th day, consciousness was marked in Sri Palaniswami. In the Brahmi Murta, wee hours, that is early hours of the day between 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., Sri Swami became fully conscious and called Madhava. I narrated to him all that happened, sobbing and crying. Then Swami consoled me and looked at me with his yogic power. That yogic look caused a great movement in my spinal cord and created an unbearable pain. Sri Swami saw me again with placid looks. My pain disappeared. He said, "My child, Madhava is not having the fortune of seeing Sri Vallabha with this physical body. For the last 10 days, his subtle body is in Kuruvapuram in the presence of Sri Pada. His desire is fulfilled irrespective of what had happened. The sportive plays of Sri Vallabha are unimaginable. No one can comprehend the mysteries of time, fate, and causes. That is possible only for Sripada. Sripada has entrusted me the responsibility of introducing life of Madhava into his gross body. We must perform that task immediately. All the grief which gripped hitherto disappeared in a moment. What more did I want than Madhava regaining life? We came to the place where Madhava was buried. The corpse was exhumed. I was assisted by two other persons. Swami asked us to move towards the group of palmra trees on the southern side and cry aloud, "Oh, King Cobra that had bitten Madhava! It is ordered that you should come to the presence of Sri Palaniswami. This is the command of Sri Padashri Vallabha." We followed the instructions of Sri Palaniswami carefully. Sri Palaniswami took four tiny seashells from his loin cloth. They were placed on four sides of the corpse. After some time, they rose from the ground to some height. Afterwards, they flew into the sky speedily in four directions, making a fluttering sound. We saw a hissing cobra crawling on the ground after some time. That snake was very much restless. The four seashells of Sri Palaniswami were fixed as if glued on its hood. Sri Palaniswami asked the snake to remove the poison from the body of Madhava. The snake sucked out the poison from the point in the body where it had bitten Madhava. Chanting the name of Sri Padashri Vallabha, Sri Palaniswami sprinkled water charged with mantra on the snake. The snake kissed the feet of Sri Palaniswami, circumambulated thrice, and retreated peacefully. The good results earned by offering food to devotees of Datta. Sri Palaniswami said, "This serpent was a female in a previous life. She became old. She earned some sin and also some virtue. Once she offered some food to a Brahmin who was a devotee of Datta. It is the nature of Datta to be pleased easily. The lady went to Yamaloka after her death. Yamadharmaraju asked her, "You have earned some papa, sin, and some punya, virtuous merit. As you offered food to a Brahmin who was a Datta devotee, you got very great benefit. At present, Sri Dattatreya lives in the human world in the form of Sri Padashri Vallabha. He ordered us to make changes in your account of Papa Punyas so that you gain great merit and take less sin. So Chitragupta made changes in your account. Do you want to experience the results of sin at first or enjoy the happiness of Punya?" For this, she replied that she would like to undergo at first the suffering on account of the small account of sins and that she would enjoy the life resulting from punya later. Therefore, she took birth as a snake on this earth. As she was having a mentality of harming others, she was biting all those who crossed her way. So she is accumulating more sin. My son, there are four classes of snakes. The first type of snakes will not harm anyone but simply take air as food and live like yogis. Second type of snakes kill those whose shadow fall on them. They become angry when the shadow of anyone fall on them. The third class of serpents try to keep away from the view of humans. They run away with fear if any person comes face to face with them. The fourth class of snakes take a revengeful attitude against anyone and bite him even though no harm is caused to them by the person concerned. That old lady was filled with Rajoguna. So she bit Madhava, who came nearby. She had bitten him due to her previous punya. Madhava lost his life because of sin earned in his previous life. That old woman was liberated from her serpent life soon and attained a higher world. As an embryo, Jiva lies in the form of snake on account of Nagadosha and affliction caused due to the wrong done to a serpent, mortality of children takes place. The merit of donating food to worthy people. Sri Datta feels happy at tender services. If food is provided in the name of Datta to a worthy person, the donor derives immense benefit. A portion of the food essence transforms into mind. Mind, intellect, will, ego, and body of the donor of the food gets filled with auspicious vibrations. By that, he will be endowed with the power to attract all objects in the creation. Bountiful plenitude of materials comes from the grace of goddess of Mahalakshmi. The whole creation is governed by subtle vibrations and fine regulation. Sri Palaniswami explained at length the greatness of Sri Pada. How much blessing of Sri Lakshmi showers on chanting the name of Sri Pada? How can we describe the luck of those who obtained his grace? On account of the mercy of Sri Pada, Madhava remained intact even though he was buried in the ground 10 days ago. Now Sri Pada is granting him life force. In what way can we describe his mercy, compassion, and the divine miracle? Madhava was gaining consciousness. He asked water for quenching thirst. Sri Palaniswami cajoled him and made him drink ghee. That ghee was also 100 years old. Madhava was refusing to drink ghee. Sri Palaniswami persuaded him by promising to give water after he drank ghee. After Madhava drank ghee completely, he was given fruit juice. After some time, water was given to him. Description of Nagaloka. Madhava regained his life. Our joy knew no bounds. Madhava was telling thus, I reached Kurvapuram in subtle form. Sripada Sri Vallabha is very tall. He is having large eyes. Compassion, mercy, and love are overflowing from his eyes continuously towards all creatures. As I was in a subtle body, I was invisible to other devotees there who were in gross bodies. Sri Vallabha ordered me to move to a central portion of an island in Kurvapuram. Chanting the name of Sri Vallabha, I went into the depths of the central point of the island. I found that many mansions existed in the epicenter of the inner depths of the earth. I learned that it was Patalalok, the Netherland. For those in gross bodies, only gross material form will be visible. For those like me who go there in subtle form, subtle world is visible there. The inhabitants there belong to Naga race. They can assume any form. They have the power to take any form they like. Generally, they would like to move as serpents. I saw there many great serpents. Some serpents have thousands of hoods. Diamonds decorated the hoods. Light is emitted from those diamonds. Some serpents remain in a posture of deep silence and appeared as if they were in a yogic trance. A wonder, there was a great serpent among them. It was having thousands of hoods. On that serpent, Sripada Sri Vallabha was resting like Sri Mahavishnu. Some of the great snakes were reciting Vedic hymns. Sripada was listening that melodious singing in a rapturous mood. A big serpent by my side was telling like this: the magnificent glory of Sri Dattatreya. In the ancient Eon, Lord Datta was born as a son of Atri and Anasuya on Anasuya mountain in Chitrakoot of Nepal. He did not end his incarnation but moved in a subtle form in the Nilagiri mountain, Sri Shaila mountain, Sabaragiri hill, and Sahyadri. Those who wear directions as robe, those who are sky vested, are famous as Digambaras. Datta was absorbed in yoga in Sahyadri. He taught Kriya Yoga to Gorakshanath, who was a follower of Natha tradition. He appeared in a formless yogic form, seated in Kechari Mudra, an aerial sign or seal. He surpasses time and place. For us who are in the presence of the Lord, past, future, and present time elements do not appear differently. All is an eternal present time for us. Viewing Dattatreya along with Anagha Devi. Another great serpent by my side said, "My boy, Madhava, we are Kalanagas, serpents of a special class, and we are called Rushivaras, great hermits." Sri Datta wanted to conceal himself after ruling over the universe for many thousands of years. He went underwater in a river and remained immersed in water for many years. After a lapse of many years, he came above the surface of the water. We who were his followers remained there with the hope that he would return with us. We know that he was trying to conceal himself from us. He again dived into the water and came out after many years. However, this time there was a goblet of wine in his hand. In another hand, he held a beautiful damsel of 16 years. We mistook him as a drunkard and one enamored by women and thought that we were deluded in thinking such a person as God all the time. With that misconception in mind, we departed from that place. He disappeared. After he disappeared, wisdom dawned on us. It occurred to us that the goblet of wine in his hand was ambrosia of yogic ecstasy, and the beautiful damsel was Anaghalakshmi Devi, who combined in herself the triumvirate of Lakshmi, Parvati, and Saraswati. We undertook a rigorous penance to obtain his reincarnation on this earth. Sri Datta was compassionate and took the incarnation of Sri Padashri Vallabha in Sri Pitikapuram. Description of Sri Kuruvapuram. The place where he went into the water for bath is the sacred Kuruvapuram. Just as he was in watery samadhi, we were also in a state of yogic samadhi with finer pulsations in this subtle world. Kuru was the ancestor of Kauravas and Pandavas. It was at this holy place that King Kuru was imparted divine knowledge. My child, Madhava, even Adisesha cannot describe the greatness of Kuruvapuram. The previous history of Sadashiva Brahmendra Swami. I paid obeisance to the auspicious feet of Sripad Sri Vallabha. Merciful Sri Vallabha spoke this. My son, this divine and beautiful appearance of mine is an extremely lucky phenomenon which is rarely available. One of the serpents that spoke with you will take birth as Jyoti Ramalinga Swami in the ensuing centuries. It will disappear also in the shape of radiant light. The other serpent that spoke to you will be born on the earth in the centuries to follow with the name of Sadashiva Brahmendra and demonstrate many miracles. Sri Pitikapuram is very dear to me. My divine Padukas, holy sandals, will be installed in Pitikapuram. My Padukas are going to be installed in the house of my maternal grandfather where I was born. The acts of my birth are divine and mysterious. They are to be kept as carefully guarded secrets. You visit the place in Sri Pitikapuram where my Padukas will be installed and proceed from there to Patala Loka. There you meet the Kalanagas, which undertook rigorous penance. You come back after that. With smiles, Sri Palaniswami said, "My son, Madhava, let us talk about Kalanagas of Pitapuram afterwards. We must immediately take bath and carry on meditation. This is the order of Sripad Sri Vallabha. Sripadarajam Sharanam Prapadhye."